as you'd like to, other than what you take a look at on the roster, but a guy can play a lot bigger than he is, and a big guy sometimes can play a lot smaller than he is. So, for Coach Roberts, it's a little bit of a unique opportunity to do something a little bit different. I think one of the things is, Eric, that I'm excited about being back here and watching tonight at Strawberry Hill was, that game against St. Mary's. I think one of the things is, Eric, I've heard several people talk about. I was down here just courtside a few moments ago talking to one of the regulars here at Strawberry Hill who watches a lot of basketball here, Ken Harrison. One of the things he talked about, I've heard multiple people talk about it throughout the week since that St. Mary's game, is how well the Mustangs play defense. There's just a lot of discussion around the Mustangs defense, particularly how well they shut down Luke Sims. So just a big discussion. One of the things is Ken was saying to me down here at courtside just a few moments ago was he was very impressed with Owen Grogan. Owen Grogan was the guy that Coach Roberts put on Luke Sims to slow him down, and he did a great job. I mean, there was a guy walking on the court for St. Mary's averaging 22 points a game. Owen Grogan can take a lot of credit for that. They held him to a total of 7 points. He didn't allow him to drive the ball inside the lane where Luke Sims likes to get the ball. He's quick. And so overall, Eric, you got to give the Mustangs credit back to that St. Mary's game. That was an excellent defense. It was really the defensive effort that brought home a win. And so here tonight, you're going to have to play defense against a team that you don't know a whole lot about. And so you've got to get on the court. I think one of the things is there'll be a good challenge actually for Coach Roberts and his staff is, after you watch a quarter, maybe a quarter and a half, maybe 2 quarters, you're going to have to make some adjustments, particularly your halftime adjustments and maybe some in-game adjustments during the first and second quarter. And so, for Coach Roberts, it's a great opportunity from a coaching standpoint. What adjustments do you have to make, and what do you got to do to slow that team down if they're playing high-speed basketball like we're witnessing right now between these two teams? And so I think that's another challenge for Coach Roberts and his staff going up against a team that they know little to nothing about. And then for the players, it's a good challenge. So one of the things is, Eric, I think tonight that you can take away from tonight's game is it's an opportunity for this team to get better in district play and region play going forward against some opponents that they'll know a whole lot more about, but at times you got to make some key adjustments.
And so that is exactly what faces the McCracken County Mustangs tonight in their out-of-conference type opponent in Legion Preparatory Academy. That is out of Tennessee, and so that will be the action that we have for you here tonight. This is the Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show. Make your pregame or postgame at Buffalo Wild Wings in Paducah. Appetizers, entrees, desserts, everything in between. They've got it for you at Buffalo Wild Wings in Paducah. As we sit here high atop the Strawberry Hills Pharmacy Arena, the game prior to ours is late in the third quarter. A slower paced game here tonight. So we have a little bit of time before ours gets set to go, but we'll keep you posted on that as to when it will start. So make sure you stay with us. We will have that info for you right here. It's McCracken County in Legion Preparatory Academy out of Dallas, Texas. When we come back, we'll look a little bit more at some numbers for you when we return. 99.5 The Fan.
It's fall, y'all, which means bonfires. Ooh, stinky bonfire clothes. Football. And your kid's dirty football pants. He was literally rolling in the mud. Or your one true love, the pumpkin spice latte that you spilled on your new clothes. Get all that nice and clean with a brand new Speed Queen washer and dryer from Purchase Appliances. Speed Queen machines are made in America, and Purchase Appliances services what they sell. Great quality, durable, long-lasting washers and dryers. Check out Speed Queen at Purchase Appliances in Paducah and Dameron's Appliance in La Center.
At Seed Plant Federal Credit Union, we're not just any financial institution. We're your neighbors, your friends, and your financial family. Seed Plant has been serving our community for over 70 years, and we're proud to be a part of your financial success. If you live, work, worship, or go to school in Western Kentucky, come see us so you can experience the Seed Plant difference. Learn more at seedplant.com. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
You don't think about your roof until it starts leaking. Don't wait until that happens. If you haven't replaced your roof in the last 5 years, like most homes in the area, you need to take a look. But don't let Dad or Grandpa Joe get up on the ladder. You need a professional. Get a free inspection from Resistant Roofing. A repair or replacement now could save you in the long run. And you want someone you can trust with the roof over your head. Resistant Roofing started here, operates only here, and will continue to be here for their neighbors. Call Resistant Roofing today. 270-534-5556.
Thanks to our highly skilled and compassionate team, Baptist Health Paducah has received a national 5-star rating from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. This means that no other regional hospital and only 4 other hospitals across Kentucky can provide the levels of safety, quality, and patient experience that you'll find with us. All-Star Team, 5-star care. Only at Baptist Health Paducah. Learn more at baptisthealth.com/Paducah.
Over 10 years ago, we realized how important saving family memories was, and we wanted to help. Legacy Box started from that passion and has now helped over 1 million families digitally preserve their film reels, VHS tapes, and photos. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. What started with the 2 of us in a garage is now over 200 trained professionals. Legacy Box is a safe and secure way to put all your favorite family memories on an easy-to-view digital format like a thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud.
We ship you a sturdy Legacy Box to fill with all your outdated media, safety barcodes to track your items throughout the process, and a prepaid mailing label. Legacy Box has been featured by Good Morning America and The Today Show. Not bad for 2 kids in a garage.
That's true, Nick. And here's the best part. We always wanted to make it affordable to preserve your entire collection. So we're offering 40% off.
Visit legacybox.com/now to take advantage of this exclusive offer. That's legacybox.com/now to save 40%. legacybox.com/now.
Message and data rates may apply.
What I'm going to tell you in the next 60 seconds could change your life. A college degree is more than a piece of paper or entry on your resume. A degree is an all-access pass to your future and a daily reminder of what you can accomplish. If you're thinking about going back to school but can't disrupt your life, consider Arizona State University. ASU Online offers the same high-quality education, world-renowned faculty, dedicated student support, and exceptional learning resources, all 100% online. You'll earn the same respected ASU degree as on-campus students and access a global network of over 400,000 alumni. Learn why ASU is ranked top 5 nationally for producing the best qualified graduates. Text TALK to 37913. ASU Online offers over 150 degrees online, from education to healthcare, engineering, and more. To learn more about ASU Online, text TALK to 37913. That's TALK to 37913.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-224-5353. That's 1-800-224-5353. 1-800-224-5353. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Excuse me. I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly every day before your office went, quote, casual. I used to be the CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me. Get granular. Keep me in the pipeline. But nada. Nothing. Don't you remember the McKittrick presentation? You spilled coffee on me, and I still looked amazing during the breakout talkback Q&A. So, I think it's time for me to move on. I've got a great resume, and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. The only thing I ask is that you think outside the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
High atop Strawberry Hills Pharmacy Arena, McCracken County High School, as we get you set for McCracken County and Legion Preparatory Academy out of Dallas, Texas. As we are counting you down to tip-off, I'd say we're about 30 to 45 minutes away, right here on 99.5 The Fan. Alongside Jimmy Garrett, I'm Eric Chumler. Game prior to ours is ongoing. It's about 7:40 here in the fourth quarter. And team out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina on top, 67-46. The Mustangs tonight playing a team out of Dallas, Texas. There's the Legion Preparatory Academy. And so that will be the matchup here tonight for the Mustangs as McCracken County gets set on the Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show. Make your pregame or postgame at Buffalo Wild Wings in Paducah. Appetizers, entrees, desserts, everything in between, they've got it for you at Buffalo Wild Wings in Paducah. So we sit here in the Baird broadcast booth. Brent Hausman and the fine folks at Baird. Good to hear from them, and thank you for supporting our broadcast booth and making tonight's broadcast possible. It's Jimmy Garrett alongside me. I'm Eric Chumler. Thanks for joining us tonight. And it was a good win for the Mustangs on Tuesday night as they took on St. Mary. Really kind of look at, it felt like the Mustangs got back to the Mustangs we're used to on Tuesday night, Jimmy Garrett, and I feel like the stats reflect that a little bit.
Yeah, Eric, I want to start out and talk a little bit about what's not on this stat sheet, first of all, with that St. Mary's game. And like I said, just great defense by the Mustangs, inside and outside both. They did just a great job shutting down a St. Mary's team who's a good team. I mean, they're well coached by Chase Stinson. They got a lot of quality players on there. As I mentioned, I think they had 4 players that are scoring in double digits. And overall for the Mustangs, they did a great job, particularly shutting down Luke Sims. When you look at it, Eric, Luke Sims came in there averaging 22 points a game, and the Mustangs held him to just 7 points. Owen Grogan, who you and I talked about a moment ago off the air, did a great job really playing a man-to-man defense against Luke Sims and kept him from driving, kept him from really getting any open shots whatsoever. And that made a big difference in the game. Anytime you can take a team of the quality of St. Mary's and take a player that's averaging, 20-plus points per game and hold him down to somewhere south of 10, in that case 7 points, your team is playing really, really good defense. And, Eric, we go back over to that Central Hardin game. That was another team that had a lot of scores that the Mustangs did a good job holding them down from a scoring standpoint and coming out of Bowling Green there Saturday a week ago with a big victory over in Bowling Green. And then if you and I go back a little bit farther, we can go back to the Saturday before that over at Poplar Bluff, and they played a really quality team out of Arkansas, in Maumelle, Arkansas, that had a big-time score in there, Cedric Jones. And though he put up 40 points, they only won that game by 11. In McCracken County, it was another game that you'd have to say that they played good defense against a quality team. So, at least in the last 3 games, with the exception of the Grace County game, the Mustangs have played great defense, and you love to see that, Eric, because when you see good defense, you're seeing players that are making a great effort. I mean, they're making a great effort to win the game when they're hustling down on the defensive end of the court. And I like seeing what we've witnessed out of the last few games from the Mustangs. So when you look at it from a defensive standpoint, I think, Eric, right now that's been carrying the team in these 2 big victories against Central Hardin and St. Mary's.
And that's been their calling card as a program. And if they want to make something of this season, which ultimately they do, it is going to have to be from the defensive end. Offensively, they're okay, but they are not the type that is going to be able to allow 50 points, 60 points a game and come away with a lot of wins. They can some, but the offense has to play well night in and night out. They need the defense to supply them some leniency to get back where they would like to be.
Yeah, Eric, when you look at the Mustangs, we'll go through these stats here in a few minutes, but just to talk a little bit about it, there are no big scores on this team. There's not a Connor Miller. There's not a Jackson Cloak type of scenario for this team this season. It's been a team effort. It's been a team effort where, your top two scorers we'll look at in a few moments are just barely above double digits. And Dylan Jackson and Jay Moss are at 11 and 10 points respectively. So, you take high school basketball, you normally see teams have one, at least, and maybe two, and in some cases, as we did with St. Mary's, 3 or 4, that have teams that have players that are in double digits. Normally, they've got at least 1 or 2 players that are high up in double digits, somewhere in that 15, 17, 18, 20, 22 range, as we saw with Luke Sims. And we're going to see that this season. Callaway County's got a similar type team. We know Marshall's got that type of team. So, there's some teams here in the region that have that type of kind of scoring profile. And so they're going to put up a lot of points. They're going to put up 60 or 70 points a game. And right now, when you take a look at the Mustangs, that's just not the type of offensive threat that they bring to the court. They're more in the 50, 55, maybe 57 range per game. And so that defense becomes critical because you've got to take an offensive threat as, Marshall County, Callaway, Central Hardin, St. Mary's, Paducah, Tillman, we can't forget about them, in Will Fork and the threats they have down at Tillman, and try to hold them below 60 points. And if you can do that, then I think the Mustangs can win a lot of games. And so it really is. This is a season that you've got to say they're going to be reliant on offense and holding teams south of 60 points. And when they do, I think, Eric, they've got a legitimate chance to win. Now, if they don't, the Maumelle is just a great game. For the Mustangs, that's their best output. 75 points, I believe, they put up in that game over at Poplar Bluff. And Maumelle came away with 11-point win. They put up 86 points. So, if you think about it there, if you had a little better defense, you could have held them down there where you like to hold teams south of 60. The Mustangs could have come away with a big victory there against a quality Arkansas opponent. So it really is. I think, Eric, this whole season is really about defense. And when you look at it, I think the one thing that bodes well defensively for the Mustangs is very similar to the girls basketball team, and we talked to Coach Civils some already this week, is he's got 12 players on the bench. He's playing all 12 of them. Very similar situation for Coach Roberts is he's got really 12 players that he can put in the game sometime during the game, and one of the things that benefits defensively is guys don't get tired. When you're playing defense, you've got to hustle. I mean, defense is about intensity, it's about speed, it's about hustle. I mean, there's where you get your quality defense. I mean, on offense, you can go down in the corner and stand and wait for the ball to come around the perimeter to see if you're open or not, and you can kind of take and catch your breath. But when you're on defense, particularly if you're playing man-to-man defense, I mean, you're moving constantly, so it takes a big effort, and it wears you down. And I think one of the things is, Eric, that Coach Roberts has been able to use all 10, 11, or 12 guys from a defensive standpoint, and that defensive standpoint with that many guys allows the team not to wear down on the defensive end of the court, and I think that gives teams problems, and I think it's a big benefit for the Mustangs that they've got 12 players that they can match up pretty good defensively. Now, the big issue that we'll talk about when we look at these stats is it doesn't necessarily bode well on the other end of the court. It doesn't necessarily mean, hey, we're going to get a lot of scoring out of this team because the guys aren't tired and they can keep their feet under them and they can get a good jump on a jump shot and do what they normally do in practice. So far, that's not really panned out. And like I said, it's just mainly because there's not as much scoring dynamic on this team as maybe we've seen a little bit historically. But I love the defense. The defense, Eric, you just got to fall in love with because it is going to be the cornerstone of this team, and it's what's going to carry them if they get deep into region play this season.
That's right, as that will be what McCracken County is leaning on when that time is to come. Let's take a look now at the stats from Tuesday night and McCracken County's win over St. Mary. Once again, jump ball Jimmy.
So let's take a look at this game. We just talked about the defense. Let's just take a look at how well the Mustangs did do offensively. And I think there's some key things here that I want to highlight in this ball game here, and it really leans back to the game at Central Hardin. But we'll take a look at these stats here tonight from that St. Mary's game on January the 8th. The Mustangs won that game 52-39. So, Eric, that's one of the things that you got to feel good about. You take a St. Mary's team that had 4 double-digit scores on it. You held them to 39 points. You held them south of 40, and that's that statement we were just talking about defensively. But you look at it offensively, to me it was an atypical night for the Mustangs in many ways. They put up 52 points overall as a team. And when you look at it, Eric, overall for this team right now this season, they're averaging 55 points. So they were right there at where their season average has been for point standpoint. Mid-50s is really the top of the curve. And then you look at this situation here as scoring-wise, the Mustangs shot the ball well from the field. 35 attempts from the field. The Mustangs made 18 of those. So right at that 50%, actually 51% from the field overall. You love that number. You know, I always say you can be north of 45%. You're having a good shooting night. Here the Mustangs were north of 50. That's a really good night. And then when you look at outside the three-point, when you take a look at these initial stats outside the arc, the Mustangs took 17 attempts outside the arc, made just 4 of them. So they came in at 23%. That's a really low number for a team, as we always use that 33% benchmark. So when you look at that initially, you say the Mustangs had a tough night shooting outside the arc. Well, as a team, they did. But here in a moment, when we delve into it from individual, we'll see one individual in particular who really did have a great shooting night, and that was part of what led the Mustangs to the victory. So, you know, even though that number looks like a 23, I think when you get back to it and you dig into the starting lineup, that number is a whole lot better than 23%, and we'll see that in just a moment. And then from the free throw line overall, 12 of 18, 66%. This is a good shooting team from the free throw. We'll see their season average was a lot higher than that, actually up around 77%. So, you know, this is a good shooting team from the free throw line. You like to see that, particularly if you're going to play a lot of defense and you're going to try to hold teams down in the 50% range or 50-point range. You know, you're going to get into some close games. And that free throw shooting is a must if you think you're going to get into some close games going down the stretch. So now let's dive into it. Let's take a look at it individually. And like I said, one of the guys I want to talk about, really highlight throughout the statistics in this St. Mary's game, is Dylan Jackson. Dylan Jackson ended up with 14 points. But let's talk a little bit about his shooting. He was 2 for 2 from the field, 3 for 6 outside the arc, and we'll look at that percentage in a moment. Garrett Miller, another guy who's playing good basketball. The interesting thing about Garrett Miller, he was in double digits, 11 points. He's getting those points coming off the bench. So one of the things is you've got to like as well, Eric, if you can get some quality minutes from the bench, and Coach Roberts is doing it, as I said, with 12 players playing during the game. In this game in particular, 10 Mustangs played, so 10 out of the 12 players on the court in that St. Mary's game. But Dylan Jackson led the way with 14 points, and that was the second game in a row. Out there at Bowling Green against Central Hardin, he had 22 points. So, Eric, one of the things that, to me, when you talk about having a double-digit score that you can count on, particularly high up on the average, right now, if you just take the last 2 games, Dylan Jackson's averaging 18 points a game. So he's that scorer over these last 2 games that helped the Mustangs win. Garrett Miller, as I mentioned, he had 11 points. Jay Martin had a good night. He had 9 points. Owen Grogan had 7 points. And I want to highlight again that Owen Grogan was one of the key guys playing defense against Luke Sims, but as well as he contributed down on the offensive end. Jackson Diaz, a guy that started for the Mustangs in that game, playing underneath to get the rebounds. He ended up with 5 points. Those 5 points came early in the game, Eric. If you remember, Jackson Diaz knocked those down in the first quarter. He had a good game. Jace Dawson, another one of the big guys underneath, he ended up with 2. Max Tanner, he had 2. And Caden Fulcher had 2. When you look at it from a shooting percentage standpoint, Jackson Diaz, as I mentioned, 2 for 2 from the field, shot 100%. Garrett Miller, who I just mentioned, coming off the bench, 5 of 7 from the field, 71%. Owen Grogan, 2 for 3. He was at 66%. And then Dylan Jackson, as I mentioned, 5 for 8 at 62%. So, Eric, it's interesting when you look at that starting lineup, with the exception of Garrett Miller, 3 of your 5 players were north of 62% from the field. I can tell you right now, Coach Roberts would take that every single night if he knew his starting lineup could shoot north of 60%. And then when you drop down here and look at it at the three-point range, like I said, it's a little bit misleading. You look at it and you say the Mustangs made 4 three-pointers out of 17 attempts, just 23%. But 2 guys I want to highlight, and the number 1 guy is another guy, is the same guy that continues to be at the top of these stats against St. Mary, is Dylan Jackson. He was 3 for 6 outside the arc. He shot 50%. And then Jay Martin had the other three-pointer. Jay was 1 for 3 at 33%. So you take those two starters in particular combined the other night, they were 4 for 9. So right up there around 45% combined between those two guys. So you like what you see out of those two starters shooting outside the arc. As I mentioned, the rest of the guys cold. 0 for the other 8 shots there were 5 other guys shooting three-pointers for the Mustangs. Dropping down, as I just mentioned, from the free throw line, 66%, a good night, but a little overall. Coach Roberts would tell you that's probably not a good night because this team's been shooting up close to 80, but looking at it overall, Jace Dawson, the senior who came in there off the bench, he was 2 for 2 at 100%. Dylan Jackson, another guy at the top of these stats again, it was 1 for 1, he was at 100%. And Owen Grogan had a good game, he was 3 for 4. Jay Martin 4 for 6. Jackson Diaz 1 for 2, and then Garrett Miller. Garrett was 1 for 3. That puts a little chagrin on Gino's face when he was the bottom of the shooting curve from the free throw line for the Mustangs. But overall, a good shooting effort. Eric, here's what just jumps out at me when I'm looking at these two sheets is, so now I'm down to the rebounding chart on this statistical sheet. Who's at the top of the rebounding chart? None other than Dylan Jackson. So he's at the top of the rebounding chart as well. In this game against St. Mary's, he had 6 total rebounds. The Mustangs had 23 overall. Dylan Jackson, 6 of those. And then you had a handful of guys, a good team effort in that game against St. Mary's. Caden Fulcher, Jay Martin, Jackson Diaz, and Garrett Miller all came in with 3 rebounds. Max Tanner with 2, and then Jace Dawson, Aaron Adams, and Owen Grogan with 1 apiece. But, you know, Eric, when you look down at this sheet, it's just interesting. At the top of the scoring, Dylan Jackson. Top of the three-point shooting percentage, Dylan Jackson. Looking at the free throws, top of the list along with Jace Dawson, 100% from the free throw line. And then the leading rebounder with 6 rebounds, double what any other player produced in that game, Dylan Jackson. Eric, you got to feel right now that the senior on the court in Dylan Jackson is showing some leadership.
That's right. That's what you love to see overall is the McCracken County senior leader doing exactly what you need him to do. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cumulative stats this year for the McCracken County Mustangs. Once again, Jimmy Garrett.
So these stats look good, Eric. I think this is one thing I certainly want to talk about tonight. The Mustangs come in here tonight at 7-7 overall, just right at that 500 mark. But when you look down at these shooting percentages, 45% as a team from the field, that's your bottom number, but that's the number you want to see. If your team's shooting at 45% or better, you got to feel good about it. And then when you drop down and look at the three-pointers, right now they're at 35%, so a couple percent above that 33 mark that I just talked about. And then here's the number I really like, a 77% from the free throw line. Just a note, before that 66% performance against St. Albans, the Mustangs were right at 79% on the tip of hitting that 80% mark. You really, really got to feel good at that. Right now, the Mustangs are taking 178 free throws, made 137 of them. So overall, just 41 missed free throws this deep in the season. When you look at it individually, and here's where it kind of divulges itself a little bit about how the Mustangs are doing scoring. Like I said, averaging just 55 points a game, and the only 2 guys on this team right now above double digits in scoring is Dylan Jackson. He's at 11.5 points, and Jay Martin, he's at 10.8. So those 2 guys are the leading scorers, but like I said, just barely over that a double-digit mark. Though I do want to note again that Dylan Jackson has been averaging 18 points per game over the last 2 games. Garrett Miller coming off the bench, he's the 3rd leading scorer, and he's not a starter, but he's at 6.6 per game. And Owen Grogan, who we spoke well about in that St. Mary's game, he's at 6.1. Caden Fulcher's at 5.4. Max Tanner, who we've seen start some this season, he's at 4.4. Aaron Adams, he's at 4 points per game. And Jace Dawson is at 2 points per game. And then there's a few Mustangs there down at a single digit per game. But overall, 55 points per game for the Mustangs. Taking a look at it from a shooting percentage, one guy that really jumps off at this sheet to me, Eric, is Garrett Miller. Right now, he's taken 61 attempts, made 37. He's at 60.7% from the field. That's a huge number for the volume of shots that he's taken so far this year. The other guys are down in the 40s, but there's a big group of them here in the 40s that have been playing a lot of good basketball. You start with Jackson Diaz. He's 10 for 20. He's at 50%. Owen Grogan is 29 of 61. He's at 47. Dylan Jackson, who I said has really come back in the last few games, he's 56 of 121. He's at 46%. Jay Martin has raised his average up to 45. And then you got Max Tanner right there at the 45 mark as well. So, you've got a handful of guys, Eric, really 7 guys that are at that 45 mark or better. And that's what's keeping this team right there at that 45% overall as a team. Taking a look at it at three-point shooting right now for the guys that have any volume whatsoever, you start with Owen Grogan. He's leading the way. He's taken 16 attempts so far this season, made 7 of them. He's at 43%. Garrett Miller, he's having a good season. He's taken 17 attempts. He's made 7. Dylan Jackson, the leading three-point shooter on this team right now, 71 attempts outside the arc. He's made 29 of them. That comes in right at 41%. Eric, that's a big number right
there.
Sure is. You've got a guy that's this deep in the season that's taken 71 attempts. He's making better than 40%. That's the guy you want to have the ball outside the arc. Jace Dawson is another guy, Eric, who comes off the bench, the only other senior on this team. He's taken only 10 attempts this year, but he's made 4, so he's at 40%. And then from there, it goes a little bit south. The rest of this team, along the starters, Caden Fulcher, Jay Martin, Carter Halls, Max Tanner, Aaron Adams, all these guys are in the high 20s, so they're below that 33 mark, quite frankly, below the 30 mark. So, these are a few guys in particular that I look at this list. Caden Fulcher, Jay Martin, and Carter Halls. When you watch them warm up, you got 2 sophomores and a junior who shoot the ball well warming up. So far, it's not equated to the court. So that's a situation that hopefully will improve throughout the season. So let's take a look at the free throw shooting. Like I mentioned, his team at 77% overall, and you look down through it, and there's a couple guys who are really having a good season. Dylan Jackson, he's the third leading free throw shooter so far this season. 22 attempts by Dylan Jackson. He's only missed 2. He's at 90% so far this season. Aaron Adams, he's having a good year. He's only taken 8 attempts. He's made 7. He's at 87.5. Caden Fulcher. So, Eric, here's an interesting stat I want to talk about just for a moment. Caden Fulcher, 22 of 26 from the free throw line, 85%. And then you jump up here and look at the three-point range, and he's at 29%. So he's a good shooter. Caden Fulcher's a good shooter. He's just not been hitting his three-pointers, but definitely doing a good job at the free throw line. Max Tanner, another guy. He's only taken 9 attempts, but he's made 7 of them. He's at 78%. Jay Martin, he's a leading free throw shooter on this team. As we've mentioned, he drives the ball into the lane. He picks up a number of overall free throws. He gets to the line a lot. So far this year, 64 attempts, made 49 of them. So he's at 77%. Eric, you love that so far. Jay Martin only missing 15 free throws out of 14 games. And then you drop down, the next guy just below him is Owen Grogan. He's having a good season too. 14 of 20 at 70%. So overall, when you look at this, Eric, the Mustangs have 8 guys shooting free throws that are north of 70% from the free throw line. Big advantage in a close game. Looking at the rebounding right now, the leading rebounder for this team, the senior again, he's a leading scorer, one of the top 3-point shooters, top up on shooting from the free throw line. And Dylan Jackson, he's also the leading rebounder, 4.1 rebounds per game. Aaron Adams coming off the bench, the freshman, he's number 2 at 3 rebounds per game. Garrett Miller, a sophomore coming off the bench, he's at 3 rebounds per game. Max Tanner's at 3 rebounds a game. And I'll give credit to Caden Fulcher and Jay Martin. They're right at 3 rebounds a game as well as Owen Grogan. So it's really a team effort there, 24 rebounds per game. But overall, Dylan Jackson, one thing is, Eric, you always have to say is, hey, do I have a senior leader on this team? I got to say one thing. When you look at it from a stat standpoint, Dylan Jackson's one of only 2 seniors on this team, and he's leading the stat sheet in virtually every single category.
That's impressive.
It is impressive. It's And, I'll be honest with you, Eric, let's go back just for a moment to what happened in Graves County. So we go back to that Graves County, and that was a bad game for the Mustangs, a big loss down there at the Eagles Nest. And if you look at the stat sheet, it was one of the things that jumped out at me in the review of that game. Dylan Jackson took one shot. He made it, and he had 2 points. And so if you take the leading player you got on your whole stat sheet, and all he did in 32 minutes was took one shot and scored 2 points, I'll be honest, Eric, you're not going to win the game.
That is an understatement. It's bears to be repeated. It's truth.
Yeah, it is. And that was the result at Graves County. I mean, it was a clear result. And, you take that game and you look at that game down there at Graves County, they lost by about 13 or 14 points. If Dylan Jackson would have been up here where he normally is, somewhere between 10 and 20 points, all of a sudden, that would have been a close basketball game.
That is exactly right. It was close in spurts, but did not end up being that way for McCracken County. This is the Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show. Make your pregame or postgame at Buffalo Wild Wings in Paducah. Appetizers, entrees, desserts, everything in between. They've got it for you at Buffalo Wild Wings in Paducah. They will have the Steelers and Ravens on later tonight as well. A lot of restaurants will, but Buffalo Wild Wings in particular will. And so make sure you go check out the Steelers and the Ravens tonight, as that will be the playoff football game here tonight. Some playoff football on tomorrow. You and I have had our fair share of playoff football lately.
We have, Eric. We enjoyed watching that Ohio State game. Big victory by Ohio State there against Texas last night. We enjoyed watching that. And I'm excited about watching tonight's game. I mean, one of the things is that that's going to be a good game. Baltimore's got an excellent football team, particularly Lamar Jackson and Henry there in the backfield. They got some talent. But just for the fans at home, I was born and raised south of Pittsburgh in West Virginia, so I'm a Pittsburgh fan. So I got to be honest with you. Me and my family tonight will be cheering for Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's exactly right. You have never been accused of having great taste in sports teams, so that trend continues here tonight. That is Jump Ball Jimmy Garrett. I'm Airball Eric Chumbler. Thanks for joining us tonight here in the Baird broadcast booth as I look at the Seaplant Federal Credit Union text hotline. Emily Brimmer, one of the best teachers in the county, listening in tonight. Good to hear from you as always on the Seaplant Federal Credit Union text hotline, 270-557-8223, 270-557-8223, and we'll shout you out, courtesy of Seaplant Federal Credit Union, 7 counties in western Kentucky. And so I give a shout out to my parents listening in on the Seaplant Federal Credit Union text hotline tonight. We have about a minute and a half until this one tonight. It is McCracken County against Legion Preparatory Academy out of Dallas, Texas. And overall, watching them, I don't know what to expect. I am clueless. We do not have a scouting report on them. But I do like what I feel like. If the Mustangs can be physical tonight, I think they've got a really good chance.
Yeah, Eric, one of the things is looking down here warming up, one of the things is I guess I've got to ask a question in mind. I see 2, 3, 5. Do they only have 8 players?
That seems to be the case.
That's what I count warming up is they only have 8 players. So, one of the things is, Eric, that bodes well. I talked about it about 15 minutes ago is the Mustangs really go 10 to 12 deep, and so that's a big advantage here against a team that may only have just 5 players that play regularly and maybe 2, maybe 3 subs. So for the Mustangs to try to wear them down could be a big effort in tonight's game.
And so that is the case for tonight. Before we get to the starting lineups, can you spell preparatory?
Yeah, I probably can spell that. I think it's Preparatory.
You cheated.
I cheated, but I've typed it in my iPad many times today because I did a lot of research on a Legion trying to find out some stats for us tonight. I really couldn't find anything, but I'll be honest with you, it was the typing into the iPad that got the spelling down.
There you go. Well, you did.
But I did cheat because I did have it on the sheet in front of me. I got to be honest with the fans home and say, was he really cheating? Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I did. I cheated on that.
That is Jump Ball Jimmy Garrett. I am Airball Eric Chumbler. Thank you for joining us here tonight here at Strawberry Hills Pharmacy Arena. Should be a fun one for the Mustangs and the prep team out of Dallas, Texas. Let's let you listen to Daryl Good for our national anthem for our starting lineup.
A 6-foot senior quarterback, Dominic Singleton. Our 5'10" junior, number 12, Antoine Stewart, the fourth. A 6'9" junior, number 21, William Malamba. Head coach is Don Walker. And now the starting lineups for your McCracken County Mustangs. A sophomore, number 4, Jenny Martin. A junior, number 23, Jackson Diaz. A junior, number 24, Owen Brogan. Sophomore, number 25, Caden Vulture. And a senior, number 5, Dylan Jackson.
And those are your starting lineups for tonight. McCracken County and Legion Prep out of Dallas, Texas. Looking at the C-Plant Federal Credit Union text hotline tonight, Ken Dickerson says, "Go Stangs," and also Brian Courtney and Peyton watching tonight on YouTube saying, "Go Mustangs." It is good to hear from you all as always. The first of many games coming up over the next week here on 99.5 The Fan. You have a chance to join Jimmy Garrett and I many nights this week, next few weeks, next few months, as it will be Mr. Lovett to tip it up for the officials tonight. Jackson Diaz for McCracken County. Carson Betts for the Legion, and he won that by a mile. It will go to Legion Prep, and they go on the left-hand side of the ball to Antoine Stewart. Stewart picks up his dribble. He goes down on the wing. That is over towards Singleton. Singleton at the high post to Betts. He turns. Backdoor cut. Left-hand layup is good. A nice set by Prep right out of the gate. It is 2-0. Legion Prep. The Bulldogs on top. Jay Martin in the backcourt. As Jay gets it into Caden Fulcher. Baseline drive. He throws it away. And so back-to-back sequences. Negative for the Mustangs. Back to the Bulldogs it goes. It will be for the Bulldogs, bringing it up, Antoine Stewart. As Stewart crosses it over straight away. He goes on to the wing to Dominique Singleton. Now straight away to Randy Dunn Jr. On the wing now to Stewart. His three is good and an inauspicious start for the Mustangs. It's 5-0. 7:09 here in this opening quarter. Full court pressure from the Bulldogs. And it's Fulcher in the backcourt. He's being guarded closely by Dominique Singleton. Brings it into the front court to Jay Martin. Immediately met by a double team. Goes back to Fulcher. He has it on the wing, working towards the baseline. Cut off by Betts. Now looks, goes back to Jay Martin, but he threw it away. Both sequences up and down the floor, Jimmy. Not friendly to the Mustangs.
No, Eric, this is a pretty quick team. Overall, there's a lot of speed on the floor here for Legion Prep, and they've got the height advantage. We talked a little bit about that. They've got a guy 6'9" on the court. So, you know, right now they're pressing the Mustangs full court, and they're using their speed to really not allow the Mustangs to come down here and set up in their half-court offense. And so, you know, overall right now, the advantage to Legion Prep. So the question is, do you try to run with them, or do you try to slow the game down? And so that'll be interesting to see how that unfolds here in the first quarter. But big decision for Coach Roberts is how do you adjust to this speed, and like I said, do you attempt to slow them down somehow? But right now, if Legion Prep wants to run at this kind of speed, this could be troublesome for the Mustangs.
Yes, it is going to be Legion Prep on the right-hand side with the ball as it goes to Walker. Into the post now to Betts. Baseline drive by Betts, gives it out to Stewart. Between the circles, Stewart goes left-hand side to Dunn. As Dunn crosses it over, he's going to take a step back three. That's no good. Rebound comes back. The Mustangs want to push it. Into the front court it goes. It's Grogan. All the way towards the rim. Off the glass. Puts it in. Nice coast-to-coast move by Owen Grogan. It's 5-2. On the return, it is Antoine Stewart as he goes now on the right side to Logan Walker. Back out to Stewart. Now Betts a three. That's good as the 6'9" freshman dials it up from deep. He's got a 3. That's unfair.
Yeah, Eric, he was in the point guard position there at 6'9", and for the Mustangs, I don't think they can contend with a 6'9" point guard.
Not to mention a freshman as Grogan goes straight away to Jay Martin. Pump fakes, penetrates, stops, step back 17-footer, air ball as it will be underneath to Legion Prep. Goodness, this team is good.
Yeah, Eric, Jay claims somebody from Legion Prep got a hand on that ball, but I got to agree with the officials. I didn't see that ball get tipped.
It will go on the right-hand side as it comes now straight away to Antoine Stewart. Stewart feeds it left side to Walker. Baseline drive to Betts, a 6'9" freshman. Lost it out of bounds. It will go over to McCracken County.
Eric, he's got the height advantage on Jackson Diaz. He's got at least 7 inches, but I got to give Diaz credit. One thing is he's driving him right against the baseline, and there he drove him straight out of bounds. So one thing that Jackson's doing right now is using his size.
It is Jay Martin who throws it almost away as he does. It's bad pass to Diaz. Diaz couldn't quite corral it. It went into the backcourt. Backcourt violation. This length is frustrating the Mustangs early on.
Eric, that's 3 turnovers and 5 attempts down the court. So, you know, that's a bad stat if it continues throughout this first quarter.
Quick math, that's 60% of our possessions.
That's a good point.
I am a nerdle king. As it will go into the short corner, that's Betts. He works baseline, knocked it away, gets it back, gives it now straight away to Stewart. Stewart on the drive, his 15-footer, no good. Rebound comes down to Grogan. The Mustangs push it the other way. 8-2 score. Mustangs trail. Grogan to the rim, off the high glass, no good, but he's fouled.
Eric, that's not something we've seen too much out of Owen Grogan. I mean, we've seen him drive the ball inside, but you know, this is 2 times so far in this first quarter that he's come down with a defensive rebound, and you can just see he's going to take it all the way to the court. I'll be honest, Eric, it's not working bad. It's not allowing Legion Prep to get back and get in their defensive set.
That's right. The first free throw was no good. One more coming up for Grogan. His second free throw is good. Grogan makes 1 of 2. It's 8-3. Mustangs trail. Jace Dawson checking in for the Mustangs as McCracken County down early 8-3 to this pretty talented, by what I can tell, Prep Ball Club. Is into the corner. A 3 coming, no good. Rebound comes over to Dylan Jackson, then out of bounds off who? Off Dylan Jackson, and it will stay with Legion Prep.
Ooh, Eric, I don't know I agree with that call, but we'll take it.
That's right. Sheila Davis listening in. Shema, Lila, and Henry listening in, saying, let's go Mustangs. Good to hear from you, Shema. As always, on the Seaplant Federal Credit Union text hotline, 270-557-8223. 270-557-8223. It is Seaplant Federal Credit Union, 7 counties in western Kentucky to serve you. Alongside Jimmy Garrett, I'm Eric Shumler. It's a wonderful turnout here tonight to come watch the Mustangs tonight. It is a very nice crowd here. And overall, you and I happy to be out and about. We played cards last night. Now getting to be out and about tonight.
We are, Eric. We're going to watch a good basketball game. Maybe have a little dinner afterwards and watch that playoff game. So a good Saturday evening after a big snowstorm yesterday.
That's right. It'll be Legion Prep to inbound it as it comes out to Betts. He's going to take a 3. No good. Rebound comes to Jace Dawson. He wants to slow it down to Jay Martin. Jay into the front court. Mustangs trail 8-3. As Martin goes on the left side to Jackson. Straight away to Dawson. Swings it right side. Martin. As he goes straight away, a long 3 from Garrett Miller. No good. Rebound fought for. Underneath, it comes down to Prep. Back the other way come the Bulldogs as Betts stops, gives it off on the wing now to Walker. As Walker back to Betts, the 6'9 freshman makes his way in, puts it in. That is going to be a player. He is just a freshman. 10-3, Bulldogs on top. Jay Martin for the Mustangs. Is Jay. Angles left side to Garrett Miller. He puts the dribble down, now gives it off to Grogan. Into the lane, Grogan back out to Martin, puts the dribble down, met by a defender, turns, gives it out to Jace Dawson. Dawson on the wing to Jackson, puts the dribble down all the way to the rim. Up and no good. Put back by Miller is good.
Eric, that was a nice follow-up on the offside of the rim there by Garrett Miller to get that rebound and put it right back up.
10-5, the Mustangs on top. 3:30 in the first. Right side three from the Bulldogs is good as Antoine Stewart, his second three. It's 13-5. On the return comes McCracken County. As out top, it goes to Jay Martin. There's a lot of contact, and Garrett Miller is hurt. He came down hard. He is in a lot of pain, and he unfortunately got the offensive foul from it. He is hurting as he is trying to get up. He now makes his way up, and I think he's going to be okay. Maybe he had the wind knocked out of him?
You may have, Eric. I didn't see that final call, so they did call that an offensive foul.
They did. They did indeed. And so it will go against the Mustangs, who trail by 8, 13-5. Mustangs moving to a 2-3 zone. Try to protect the perimeter a little bit better. As so far, 3 threes from the Bulldogs. So it goes on the wing to Walker. Now swung opposite side as that is to Dunn. Into the paint, poked away. Out of bounds, it will go over to the Mustangs as the Mustangs create a turnover.
Eric, one of the things that's going to be an interesting matchup to watch just for the fans at home. Coach Roberts, he put Aaron Adams in there, the 6'6 freshman, a big guy for McCracken County, but he's a freshman as well. So it'll be interesting to see how these two big freshmen play against each other.
Fulcher into the front court for the Mustangs, now into the corner to Grogan. Straight away to Dawson, swings it to Adams. Adams in the corner, Jackson, his spot up three, got it.
Dylan Jackson continues to score outside the arc for the Mustangs.
That makes it 13-8. The Mustangs back down to a 5-point deficit. On the left side, it's Dunn Jr. Straight away to Stewart. Now towards Dunn. 2-3 zone continues for the Mustangs. More of a 3-2 zone, I should say, to protect the perimeter. On the left-hand side, comes back out now to Stewart. Swung on the right-hand side as it goes to Dunn. All the way to the rim, kicks it left side. Open three from Singleton, rims out. Rebound comes down to Jackson. Jackson brings it the other way. Right side to Grogan. He stops, and his shot blocked by the 6'9 freshman Betts. Hard to do that against Betts.
Yeah, Eric, Owen went a little deep there towards the lane and ran into him, and that for Betts, he had the advantage there. I think if Owen would have stayed out there at the arc and took a three-pointer, it might have been a little bit of opportunity for him, but for the Mustangs, that'll be a little bit of a problem all evening.
Several shout-outs to get to, including family members, not of mine, but of each other. Coach Roberts' family listening in. We'll mention that in a moment. As Jackson takes some contact and I believe fouled on the floor. Want to give a shout-out to Coach Roberts' wife. Jenna Roberts is listening at home with Ty. Anna is here, I believe. I saw her earlier. And Steve Frick, Jane Ann Heath, as in-laws of Coach Roberts listening in tonight. Actually, they're going to say Dylan was shooting. I will take it. So Dylan will shoot 2. I didn't think he was in the act of shooting, but I will agree with them and say he was. First free throw is good.
Yeah, Eric, I got to agree with you. He looked tied up there.
That's what I thought.
I don't think he got that ball much above the waistline. If anything, I don't see where.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same.
So I got to concur with you on your earlier thoughts on that particular foul.
As a second free throw, no good. Rebound back to Aaron Adams to Dylan Jackson. Mustangs another chance. Right side, Garrett Miller pump fakes, penetrates to the rim, puts it in. Garrett Miller cuts it to a 2-point game. It's 13-11. A minute 45 in this first quarter. Is on top of the key, it is Singleton. Singleton goes into the corner. It is towards Dunn. Now cross court. Straight away back towards Singleton. Cross court into Lugo. Now back a three coming. No good. Rebound comes back towards Fulcher. Mustangs have it. Kintyre take the lead. Fulcher stops for a moment. Gives it off. Nope, gets it back. Comes now to Dawson. Dawson turns. Gives it out to Fulcher. Now to Jackson. Jackson puts a dribble down, stops in the lane. Right side, Fulcher, his three, no good. Rebound comes long, chased down and out of bounds. It will go over to the Bulldogs.
Oh, Eric, that was unfortunate there. The Mustangs had an opportunity to get in the lead there with the Dylan Jackson three-pointer. It was just a little bit long, but one of the things I got to go back to that missed free throw. That was a good rebound by Aaron Adams, a freshman who just came off the bench.
1 minute left in this opening quarter. Mustangs trail by 2. As it comes now straight away to Dunn. At the free throw line, a reach-in foul is going to be, I believe, on Max Tanner. Want to give a shout-out to my parents, Donnie and Bobby Sue Chumbler, listening in. Good to hear from you all. As Bulldogs will inbound it underneath their own basket. As it comes in on the left-hand side. Now underneath, layup up, partially deflected and returned by Fulcher. Fulcher to bring it up for the Mustangs. Trailing by 2. Fulcher stops. Free throw line jump shot. No good. Rebound comes back to the Bulldogs. Dunn. He stops his 3. No good. Rebound comes long. Fulcher gets it. Mustangs back the other way. 30 seconds left. Gives it out Jackson. Dillon thought about the 3. He's tied up and he's fouled. And so the Mustangs will have it sideline out of bounds. 25 seconds here in this first quarter.
Eric, I got to say one thing. That's 3 consecutive rebounds by Caden Fulcher. He's the only guy he's the shortest guy on the court.
That's right.
And Caden's come down with 3 defensive rebounds. You like to see that effort.
As it is Fulcher in the corner. On the block to Tanner. Out it goes to Miller. Garrett to the rim. Up and under. Layup is good. Nice move by Garrett Miller to tie it up. He's got 6. 12 seconds left. Into the corner, taken away by the Mustangs. Aaron Adams on the steal. Adams, left side, Jackson. Pump fakes, penetrates, stops. His jumper's good. And the Mustangs put on a fury to end the quarter. And after trailing all quarter, they take the lead with 2 seconds left and lead at 15-13. It wasn't the prettiest quarter, Jimmy Garrett, but overall the Mustangs got it done at the end.
It was a good second half of this quarter. You know, one thing, Eric, I got to go back and look at it. Do you recall right about the 4-minute mark? That was 13-8 was what the score was.
That's right.
And the Mustangs, so if I've got it calculated right, the Mustangs outscored them in the second part of this first quarter. 10-0 is what they actually outscored them. Took that 8-point deficit at 13-5 and turned it into a 2-point lead at 15-13. So you got to give them credit. And one of the things is, Eric, that we didn't get to talk about, but I had in my keys to success was rebounding would be a big difference in this game, knowing the height advantage of Legion Prep. And you got to say one thing, Eric, the Mustangs down on the defensive end of the court, particularly between Caden Fulcher and Dillon Jackson, those guys are doing a heck of a job rebounding on the defensive end.
And how about Garrett Miller getting to the rim the way he is right now?
Yeah, Eric, it's a talent. I mean, you got to admit one thing. He plays very similar to Connor Miller, and he's just got a quick first step. He's got a lot of vertical jump, and he's not afraid to take the ball inside. It's the same thing we saw out of Connor the last couple years. And Miller, he has just continued on with that trade, and he does an excellent job. He's not afraid to get inside and mix it up with these guys.
So the Mustangs take a 2-point lead right now, 15-13. McCracken County is on top. The Mustangs will start with the basketball as Adams goes down low to Max Tanner. Tanner stops, turns, fadeaway jump shot, short. Rebound is a reach-in foul. It's going to be on McCracken County, as that's going to be on Adams on the reach-in.
Eric, I didn't like that call. I don't complain too often, but that was by the back judge there, and the gentleman right at the baseline did not call that as a foul. That would have been out of bounds back to the Mustangs.
As it is going to be Legion Prep with it as it comes now into the lane. A running floater up, no good. Rebound back to Legion Prep, put up and in. That is on Betts, I believe. Was that Betts?
It was Betts, Eric.
All right.
He got his own rebound, puts that back up.
And so it is going to be McCracken County with it. 15-15. 7-12 in this second quarter. Jay Martin goes into the corner. Jackson, spot up 3, got it. Jackson's got 9. The Mustang lead is 3. Then a nice job by Garrett Miller reading the passing lane as it's knocked out of bounds off Miller. Mustangs lead by 3.
Eric, right here's the advantage, I think, to the Mustangs. Jackson Diaz and Owen Grogan came back in, and as we mentioned to the fans earlier, just a 3-person bench for Legion Prep, and you've got to wonder how that wears on them as the game gets long. And so for the Mustangs right now, if I count correctly, Coach Roberts has already played 8 guys, maybe 9 guys so far in this game. I think that's going to be an advantage for the Mustangs late in the game.
Ooh, is a lot of contact. Could have been a foul on the Mustangs. It is not. Instead, the Mustangs get a steal. Owen Grogan into the front court. Up to Miller. His layup is good. Nice transition sequence for the Mustangs. Miller has 8. It is back to a 5-point lead. 20-15. McCracken County on top. It is straight away Antoine Stewart. Stewart on the wing, now in towards the lane, goes down low to Betts. He's double teamed, turns, puts it up, blocked by the rim, but a foul call is going to be called on McCracken County.
Yeah, Eric, it's on Aaron Adams. That's his second one, so it's got to be a little bit of a concern. Granted, he's coming off the bench, but right now on this team, he's the tallest player on the team. Is 6'6", 6'6" freshman, and Coach Roberts is going to need him throughout this game to try to combat the height advantage by Legion Prep. So that's got to be a little bit of concern here. He may take him to the bench and keep him available for that second half.
As the free throw is good. So Betts makes one. The lead is down to 4, 20-16. As it comes on the wing to Adams. Adams goes to Martin as he puts down the dribble, stops, back out to Grogan. Grogan crosses it over, goes now on the wing. A spot up three from Adams is good. Aaron Adams, the freshman from deep, 23-16. The Mustangs on top. It is going on the left side. Dunn is three, no good. Rebound comes back to McCracken County. And then a foul away from the ball. Adams went flying, not sure what happened. And so it is going to be a foul on the Bulldogs. And so the inbounds comes to Jay Martin. Mustangs by 7, 23-16 as Jay gives it off right side. Hauls his three, no good. Rebound comes back to the Bulldogs. As into the front court, a three on the way. It's good by Walker. So that silences the Mustang faithful for a moment. 23-19. Bulldogs on top as Jay Martin comes straight away to Diaz. As Diaz left side to Grogan off of a screen. Grogan top of the key now, picks up his dribble, goes to Halls. As Halls comes to Diaz to Adams. As Aaron Adams off a screen, thought about the three, strip for a moment, gets it back, gives it to Halls. As Carter picks up his dribble and goes to Jay Martin. Jay into the corner, Grogan. His spot up three, got it. Grogan from deep, and the Mustangs have found the deep recipe. That'll bring some Mustang faithful to their feet, and a timeout from the Bulldogs, and the Mustang offense really starting to click, Jimmy.
They are, Eric. I just looked up at the clock, 4:44 left here in the second quarter. So if we go back to that 4-minute mark in the first quarter where the Mustangs were down 13 to 5, they were down 8 points. So in the next 8 minutes, they turned an 8-point deficit into a 7-point lead, and overall have outscored Legion Prep, if I got my numbers right, 21-6 is what they've been able to outscore them here in the last 8 minutes. And part of that, Eric, is good ball movement. I haven't had an opportunity to talk about it so far, but just for the fans at home, in the half-court offense, you know, those first few minutes, the pressure from Legion Prep didn't allow the Mustangs really to get set up in their half-court offense. But since somewhere around that 3-4 minute mark in that first quarter, the Mustangs have been set up in that half-court offense. And when they're doing it, Eric, you got to admit they're doing a nice job with ball movement. That's something Coach Roberts has been working on. And then the shot selection has been excellent. And then these guys are hitting. So, you know, one of the things is, Eric, this really, you know, we've seen 8 quarters between Central Hardin and St. Mary's. Nearly 2 more quarters here where the Mustangs continue to play solid basketball.
So it is into the front court. The Bulldogs trailing by 7. A three into the corner from the Bulldogs, no good. Rebound comes down to the Mustangs. Grogan left side to Carter Halls. To the rim, puts it up, no good. Rebound back to Grogan. He turns, looks underneath, gives it to Diaz. His layup is good. Jackson Diaz underneath, and it's back to a 9-point lead, 28-19. Into the front court at Singleton. Now on the right-hand side to Dunn. Cross court it goes to Stewart. Out comes to Walker. His three, no good. Rebound back to Betts. Puts it up, and he's fouled. I didn't know if they were going to call that for a second or not. But he most definitely got fouled. He'll shoot 2.
Yeah, Eric, he went in there. He grabbed that rebound. Jackson Diaz was in there, but he used his height to come down with that rebound, and Jackson didn't have any choice there, really, Eric, but to reach in there well, that would have been an easy basket for Betts.
As the free throw no good, he'll have one more. Second free throw is good. So Carson Betts makes one of two. And the Mustangs lead 28-20. As it is Diaz, may have traveled with it, turns, fadeaway jump shot short. Rebound comes back to Betts. The Bulldogs go the other way. Betts coast to coast to the rim, puts it up, and it's an offensive foul against Betts.
Jackson Diaz did a good job there at getting back. He didn't move his feet. We talk about Dylan Jackson taking charges. Got to give Jackson Diaz credit there. He did a good job just holding his ground there and allowing Betts to run over him and pick up. That's the second foul now in this quarter against Betts. So that'd be big, Eric, in the second half if Betts fouled out.
3:47 left in the second quarter. Mustangs 28-20. Dylan Jackson a long two, no good. Rebound comes back to Carter Halls. He gives it out to Grogan. Grogan in towards the lane, gives it out. Jackson, spot up three, got it. Dylan Jackson from deep again, and the Mustang lead out to 11, 31-20. Into the front court, it goes out towards Dunn. Now out to Betts. As Betts slowly puts down the dribble, hands it off right side. Now back to Betts inside. He's surrounded by Mustangs. Underneath pass, layup good is by Stewarts. Mustangs lead 31-22. Carter Halls gives it off to Grogan. As Grogan to Jay Martin. As Jay shakes and bakes, turns, it's stripped, gets it back. Jackson again, it's good! Dylan Jackson is feeling it. His fourth three of the game, it's 34-22. Left side, open three from Singleton, no good. Rebound, fought for, out of bounds off the Bulldogs over to the Mustangs.
Eric, this is 2 consecutive games. I talked about Dylan Jackson, really 3 going back to the Central Arden game, but man, Dylan Jackson's done an excellent job shooting the ball, Eric. I think he's only missed 1 attempt so far outside the arc, so this scoring by Dylan Jackson, Eric's making a big difference in this team.
As Grogan all the way to the rim, puts it up and in. Nice move by Grogan.
Eric, he took his man all the way. That was Walker. He drove Walker all the way to the glass there for that layup.
And it is going to be the Bulldogs with it. A three on the right side, no good. Jace Dawson gets it and gives it up to Jay Martin as Jay crosses it over a couple times, gets to the rim, puts it up, is stripped, and it's going to be a reach-in foul on Jace Dawson.
Eric, I like that move by Jay Martin. He tried to do the same thing as Owen Grogan, take his guy all the way to the rim, and he really had a good opportunity there, but that was good defense. I got to give credit to the player there from Legion Prep, a little better defense than against Owen Grogan there. He reached in, was able to tie that up.
And so the Mustangs back in their defensive set. Betts to the rim, puts it up and in. Carson Betts, the 6'9 freshman, finishes at the rim as the Mustangs now return 36-24. As Dylan Jackson straightaway three. That's good again, Dylan Jackson.
Eric, that one was 5. That was actually on the logo. He was actually standing on the Mustang logo when he made that three-pointer.
And so the Mustang lead now 15 as it goes right side. A three coming from the Bulldogs, no good. Rebound back to Betts, though, puts it up and in.
A little unfair matchup, the 5'10 Caden Fulcher against the 6'9 Betts.
As Jackson again, this time no good. As he's needed a heat check. Goes on the right-hand side, is into the lane, now left side as it goes towards Singleton. And now a three coming. It's perfect from Betts.
Eric, that's a second three-pointer that Betts has made tonight. A 6'9 guy out there. He's doing a nice job. He's got a nice shot outside.
It is Fulcher into the front court. Guarded closely. Great defense by Stewart. Fulcher working one-on-one with him. To Garrett Miller. Miller gives it now to Grogan. As Grogan gets by his defender, a little bit of a push-off, got to the rim, no good. Rebound comes back to the Bulldogs. Into the lane, it is Stewart. Gives it off left side to Singleton. His jumper's good. Dominique Singleton finished to make it 39-31, 5 seconds left. As Fulcher into the lane, and he puts it up, no good. That's going to do it for the second quarter of play. What a first half for the McCracken County Mustangs. They lead it 39-31. When we come back, it will be the first half scoring and Estes Chiropractic Center's second half adjustments when we return. 99.5 The Fan.
Craig Culver on Culver's Salted Caramel Concrete Mixers.
Summer just isn't complete without this treat. We take our frozen custard and add salted caramel. Then pick your favorite mix in. Cookie dough, brownie pieces, or how about Reese's Peanut Butter Cup? We spin it by hand. I love seeing that caramel swirl through the custard. There it is. Come on in for the Culver's Salted Caramel Concrete Mixer. Welcome to Delicious.
Stop in at Culver's on Highway 60 in Paducah.
Grabbing dinner after school activities, scooping up salad to help you stay on track with your diet, sweets off the buffet, and it's all from one stop. Yep, that's Pizza Inn, your destination for variety and a family-friendly environment. Delicious food and delicious deals with Senior Day every Wednesday, Kids Day every Thursday, and Tuesday takeout specials. Buffet, delivery, carry-out, catering. For pizza outs, it's Pizza Inn.
Has your team started on cold from outside? Is the opposing team hot from everywhere? Then visit MrCool.com today. You'll find heating and cooling solutions your home needs, like with our flagship DIY mini split heat pumps. Perfect for your garage, office, or with our 5-zone system, your whole home. It's really up to you. You're the play caller at your house, right? Right? Visit MrCool.com today for your HVAC needs and beat discomfort with the full core press from an innovative Mr. Cool HVAC system.
Do you avoid going to the doctor because of all the hassle? Figuring out your copay, your deductible? Will your insurance even pay for this? Is this provider in your network? There's no hassle at Estes Chiropractic. The Back Brothers. They cut their fees so they could cut out the middleman. The Back Brothers dropped their fees enough so they don't have to fool with insurance. And neither do you. They don't do insurance at Estes. They just take good care of you. Give Paducah's Back Brothers a call. Estes Chiropractic, the Back Brothers.
What do you get someone that has everything? Lunch. McDonald's Arch Cards are the perfect gift. The size is always right and the color is perfect for anyone on your shopping list. Stop by your neighborhood McDonald's and finish your shopping list today. And while you're there, download the McDonald's app. Collect points when you order your favorite food and take advantage of all those great deals, like a 10-piece Chicken McNugget for only $1 on the McDonald's app.
Thanks to our highly skilled and compassionate team, Baptist Health Paducah has received a national 5-star rating from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. This means that no other regional hospital and only 4 other hospitals across Kentucky can provide the levels of safety, quality, and patient experience that you'll find with us. All-Star Team, 5-star care. Only at Baptist Health Paducah. Learn more at baptisthealth.com/Paducah.
Discover the difference that comes from a financial partner committed to building better tomorrows. I'm Darren Rudolph with Baird Private Wealth Management in Paducah. As a provider of trusted financial services in Paducah, Baird is committed to making the future brighter for you and for our community. That's why we support local organizations like United Way and West Kentucky Fellowship of Christian Athletes, because we care about Paducah. Discover the Baird difference. Visit paducah.bairdwealth.com.
Rudy's Farm Center is your locally owned farm, industrial, and hardware store in Keppel. Now, the Rudy family is proud to be a part of Mustang Nation. Why don't you come out and enjoy a bag of famous popcorn? It's just 10 minutes from the school campus out on Highway 60. While you're there, take a good look at the selection of Traeger wood pellet grills, a great addition for your tailgate party. At Rudy's Farm Center, down Highway 60 in Keppel.
Mustangs a 39-31 halftime lead as they have been powered by Dylan Jackson behind the three-point line here tonight. Dylan Jackson 5 of 6 behind that three-point line this evening, and overall leading the Mustangs in scoring. Jimmy will mention that in just a moment. Welcome back as we are now going to look into the first half scoring. Once again, Jimmy Garrett.
So taking a look first at Legion Prep right now, just 4 scores on this card overall, led by Carson Beck, the 6'9 freshman. So far, he's got a total of 14 points. One of the things is, Eric, I want to remind the fans at home, listen, two of those are three-pointers. 6 of his 14 points came from outside the arc. So the 6'9", a freshman, he can shoot the ball as well outside. The other 3 scores tonight for Legion Prep, Antone Stewart, he's got a total of 8. A Singleton, he's got 4. And Lanson Walker, he's got 3 so far. Taking a look at the Mustangs, very similar in scoring fashion to Legion Prep. Just 5 scores so far tonight from the Mustangs. I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up in this game. Aaron Adams, he's got a 3-pointer. He's got a total of 3. Jackson Diaz, he's got 2. You got 2 guys tonight so far at 8 points apiece. Garrett Miller coming off the bench, he's got a total of 8 points. And then Owen Grogan, he's got 8 points as well. But the leading scorer in this game for both teams, Dylan Jackson, 18 total points. Eric, right now, I think he's 5 for 7 so far, shooting 3-pointers. And for the fans at home, looking at this scorecard, 4 3-pointers in the second quarter alone. Eric, that is just great shooting by Dylan Jackson.
Let's take a look at the Estes Chiropractic Center second half adjustments. When you need that back adjustment, go see the Back Brothers, Kevin and Kelly Estes of Estes Chiropractic Center, Central Avenue in Paducah. And also tonight for McCracken County, tell us what you feel like the second half adjustments should be.
Well, you know, Eric, one of the things is we've got to say the Mustangs did a good job here. There is not a lot that I've got on my list to adjust. I mean, one of the things is you could say you've got to continue to not allow Betts to get offensive rebounds. We've seen him get a few offensive rebounds here tonight. He can easily put him back at 6'9". And so one of the things is, Eric, I've got to give a few guys credit tonight. Jackson Diaz, in particular, did a good job pushing Betts around and keeping him off the boards. Jace Dawson came in there and did a good job as well as some of the other guys like Dylan Jackson and Caden Fulcher. So even though he's got a good height advantage, I think, Eric, the Mustangs have got to continue in this second half to control the defensive boards, keep Betts from getting those second chance opportunities. I think that can continue to keep the Mustangs in the lead and come out of here with a W. I think the other thing, Eric, the Mustangs have got to continue to do here in the second half is, you know, we look at how many shots the Mustangs have made, in particular Dylan Jackson, but what really led to those shots, Eric, was good ball movement in their half-court offense. And if you take a look at the first 4 minutes where they got down 13-5, what was the problem? They couldn't match up with Legion Prep and get the ball down and really get set up in their normal half-court offense that Coach Roberts wants them to run. After they were able to break the press, get down, get set up in their normal half-court offense, they did an excellent job, Eric, with ball movement, and that ball movement is what contributed to open shots and a lot of made baskets in the second quarter in particular. So I think, Eric, the other thing is the continuation of good ball movement in the half-court offense.
That's right. I agree with both that. It is your Estes Chiropractic Center second half adjustments. When you need that back adjustment, go see the Back Brothers, Kevin and Kelly Estes of Estes Chiropractic Center, Central Avenue in Paducah. As we sit here, several big games coming up here tonight. It's going to be a fun night of basketball here at Strawberry Hills Pharmacy Arena. Come on out and enjoy the action. It should be a fun night here at Strawberry Hills. And then the Mustangs in action Friday night, McCracken County at Paducah Tillman at Otis Denning Gymnasium. We will have that coverage for you starting at 5:30 on Friday night, with the girls at 6 and the boys around 7:30. That will be right here on 99.5 The Fan. And then Saturday, the girls in action at home against Bowling Green that night. The boys in action at University Heights to round out the action for next week. And then a lot of games in a short stretch for both sides after that. It is getting into the January swing of things.
Yeah, Eric, it's really getting the heart of basketball season here. I mean, and this is really the second half of the season. This is your stretch where you've really got to improve to get ready for district and regional play. So for both the Lady Mustangs and the Mustangs, they've got to do a good job really over this next 2-week, maybe 3-week period as you end up at the end of January on the 31st, as you lead into the month of February, where you really got to be ready for tournament play. So I think overall for the Mustangs, Eric, we've got to feel good about what we've seen here in the first week of January with the Mustangs. If they continue to play good here in the second half and come out with a W here in this game, Eric, they've got off to a good start in the first third of the month of January, and that's a big plus, Eric, so far in this cold, wintry month of January.
Sure is quite cold. And I hear more is coming late next week.
Well, I haven't got an opportunity to look at the weather, but, you know, the one thing is just for the fans at home that you know well, I do not like the cold weather. The cold weather and me don't get along well, and so it's been a tough week for me overall. I was out to lunch yesterday and got to shiver so bad. I was having a hard time talking, got shaken so bad. And so the cold weather and me aren't friends.
Do you hate Pitt more or the cold weather more?
Oh, Pitt. No doubt about it.
Not a fan of Pittsburgh.
As a West Virginia fan, we're not Pitt fans.
That's right. It is Legion Prep the ball. Mustangs lead 39-31 as Legion Prep goes on the left-hand side. 15-footer coming, no good, but a foul's going to be on McCracken County. I believe that is on, did they give that?
I think it's Jackson Diaz.
They gave it to Grogan. That's going to be his first, and so that was a gift. It didn't get on Diaz. That was a break, and it will be Lanton Walker as his free throw's good. I, like you, thought it was on Diaz, which would have been another one on him.
Yeah, I did. I certainly was the one that I certainly thought Diaz made the contact with the shooter there.
And so the second free throw from Walker to cut the Mustang lead to 6. He does. 39-33, 7:48 in this third quarter. As Jay Martin will bring it into the front court. He hands it off to Dylan Jackson. Straight away now to Fulcher. Back to Dylan Jackson. Another three from Dylan. Short. Rebound comes back out of bounds. It will go to Legion Prep. Mustangs lead it 39-33. Legion Prep to inbound it, as it is in the backcourt with Dominique Singleton. Mustangs bringing three-quarter court pressure into the front court. Now circling is Walker. Left side of the floor towards Singleton to Walker. As Walker goes right side to Dunn. Baseline drive, cut off, gives it back out to Walker. Using his dribble, goes now on the wing to Betts. As Betts right side to Dunn. Dunn gives it to Walker. Patient series here for Legion. In the corner, wide open three coming from Walker. This no good. Rebound, tipped around, comes back towards Diaz. And the Mustangs will bring it up, leading by 6, 39-33. As left side to Jay Martin. As Jay gives it to Diaz, right side to Fulcher. Thought about the three, puts the dribble down, stops, goes cross court Jay. Jay Martin's three, short. Rebound is saved inbounds by Legion Prep. And the other way it will come. Into the front court it goes. That is to Stewart. Back out to Singleton. Mustangs lead 39-33. Betts gets it. And it is going to be a foul on the Mustangs.
Yeah, Eric, and in football we call it a holding penalty. That was a holding penalty on Caden Fulcher.
That's right.
Betts was going to get around him. He just reached over and grabbed his shirt and said, hey, I'll slow the 6'9" guy down.
That's right. As it comes into Betts, strong power dribble and the dunk. The freshman gets his dunk and gives him 16. And that kid's going to play college ball here in about 3.5 years. As Fulcher crosses half court. Fulcher using a right-hand dribble, sets up the offense to Diaz straight away. On the wing to Grogan, thought about popping a three, puts the dribble down. Couple of crossovers, back out it comes to Diaz. As Diaz taken away, stolen on the steal. It is Stewart to the rim, puts it in. It's a 2-point game, 39-37. Jay Martin will bring it up for the Mustangs. As Martin across the timeline. Goes on the wing to Grogan. Gets by his defender. Stopped, though, by the help to Diaz. Back to Grogan. There's Grogan back in the lane. Pumps. Gives it to Jackson. His three. Got it. Dylan Jackson's got 21. His 6-3. It's 42-37. Legion Prep breaking the pressure into the front court. That is to Dunn underneath. A layup by Betts is good. He was looking for the end one. To no avail. He's got 18. 42-39. Three-quarter court pressure. Man-to-man pressure from the Bulldogs. And a great screen by Diaz as that goes to Jay Martin. Spot up three. Got no good. Rebound comes back to the Bulldogs. Back the other way. It is Dunn. Dunn, Eurostep, blocked at the rim, but a foul. And Dunn had a rough series when you consider he took one heck of a screen from Jackson Diaz, then the foul the other end.
He did, and for the folks at home, Jackson Diaz, he's big enough to play football. I mean, he is. He's got enough size and muscle about him to play football, and the smaller guy there ran into Jackson, and it wasn't a foul. He didn't move. It wasn't a moving screen. He was stationary. And so it was a nice play, and unfortunately the Mustangs allowed him to get the ball back and bring it down there for an opportunity. Eric, he makes his free throw. It's a one-point game.
That's right. As the second free throw is good, and like you said, it is a one-point game. It is in the front court to Garrett Miller. As Miller on the right sideline. He is knocked over. It goes back to Fulcher, though. As Fulcher in the lane. Jackson, his jumper, no good. Rebound fought for, comes back to Legion Prep. They can take the lead. On the right-hand side, it's Dunn. His jumper, no good. Rebound to Max Tanner. Tanner brings it back the other way to Miller. As Miller gives it off left side to Fulcher. Back out to Miller. Miller using a couple of dribbles, goes to Fulcher. Fulcher in towards the lane. He is going to be nearly tied up. Goes in the corner to Tanner. Tanner in the corner to Miller. And Miller will slow it down for the Mustangs. 42-41, Mustangs on top. Miller straight away to Fulcher. Fulcher right side to Tanner. As Tanner spins in the lane, his 5-footer is good.
Eric, that was a smart move by Max Tanner. He didn't try to go up against the bigger bets. He just stopped and took that 5-foot jumper. That was a good decision by Max Tanner.
As it is in towards the short corner. As Betts double teamed. Now gives it out to Walker. Underneath the Betts, and he's blocked at the rim by Tanner. Gives it up to the left side of Grogan. To the rim, puts it up and in. A nice move on the sequence and a timeout from Prep. And a much-needed quick 4-0 run for the Mustangs.
Yeah, Eric, and I got to give a credit to that last basket for the fans at home. Owen Grogan did a nice job. Number 4 down there, that's Walker. He did a nice job setting up to take the charge there. And Owen Grogan just did a nice job there, a little bit of body finesse, and was able to get around him to get that layup. Otherwise, it would have been a travel call there on Owen Grogan. So it was a very nice move by Owen Grogan. Eric, I got to go back to a smart decision there by Max Tanner. You know, he had an opportunity to drive that basket all the way to the glass and go up against the bigger bets, and he decided not to. He pulled up there, like you called it, about 5 foot out from the rim and made that 5-foot jumper. That was a good, wise decision. And over the last 2 games, Max has been in the game some. He's made some maybe not so many good decisions, and Coach Roberts has had him on the bench a little bit more, but I got to give the young man credit there. That was a smart decision, and those 2 baskets by Max Tanner and Owen Grogan, Eric, preserved this lead here midway through the third quarter.
As the Mustangs right now on top by 5, 46-41. This has been a fun one tonight. Legion Prep, part of the grind session circuit. Gracious enough to play us tonight. They play all these teams nationwide. And the Mustangs giving them a lot to handle here tonight, 46-41. As Legion Prep into the front court on the right-hand side, it's Antoine Stewart. As Stewart goes now left side to Shingleton. Singleton now top of the key to Dunn. Swings it right side. A 3 coming from Stewart is good. Antoine Stewart gets another 3. He's got 13, 46-44. 2-point game, 2:40 in this third quarter. Fulcher between the circles. Angles on the right-hand side in front of Coach Roberts. Gets by his defender to the rim, no good. Rebound out of bounds off Max Tanner. It will go to the Bulldogs.
Eric, I like that by Caden Fulcher. He got around his man. He took him all the way to the glass, but just an errant shot. He really didn't get a good layup off there, but I like the move by Caden Fulcher. I think it was a good decision.
And it will be the Bulldogs' ball, trailing by 2. As in towards the left corner, a baseline drive, a lot of contact. That's going to be a foul on Tanner.
Yeah, Eric, he let Walker get to step on him there on the baseline. He didn't have any choice but to put a hip in him there to slow him down, or Walker would have taken that all the way to the rim. So for Max Tanner, he let Walker get a step on him.
As underneath it's Betts, poked away, stolen by Dylan Jackson. As Jackson will give it off, and Fulcher will walk it up. Fulcher works left side to Dylan Jackson. Straight away now to Tanner. Thought about putting a dribble down, goes to Fulcher. It's Fulcher straight away to Adams. Aaron Adams gives it back off to Fulcher. Minute 55 in the third quarter, yeah. Mustangs up by 2. And Miller takes a little bit of contact. That's going to be a foul, and that brought a little bit of a disagreement from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Eric, but I think that was a good foul there. Stewart, he was playing against Garrett Miller pretty tight, and Garrett didn't put a forearm out or anything, and overall Stewart made a lot of contact there. I think that was a good call there by the official.
And so it will be Mustangs basketball as it goes to Max Tanner. As Tanner gives it to Adams, now to Miller. Straight away to Dylan Jackson. As Dylan, a floater up, no good. Rebound comes back to Aaron Adams. Another chance for the Mustangs. To Max Tanner. Tanner, left side, Dylan Jackson in the corner. It goes to Miller. As Garrett in towards the lane, stops, turns, gives it out. Aaron Adams, spot up 3, got it. Aaron Adams, his second 3 for the freshman. It's 49-44. 1:05 in this third quarter. On the right side, it's picked off by Max Tanner. Tanner in towards the front court, all the way to the rim. His layup is good. Max Tanner finishes in transition. It's 51-44. Legion Prep in the backcourt. It is going to be Walker. Now to Dunn, to Betts. On the right side to Dunn. In the corner it goes to Singleton. Baseline drive. In the corner, Walker. His spot up 3. No good. Rebound tipped around. Comes to Garrett Miller. Miller races the other way for the Mustangs. Turns. Gives it now left side. Goes straight away to Jackson. Thought about the open 3. He's going to wait. And nearly threw it away. Gives it back to Fulcher. And the Mustangs will wait for the final shot. A little bit of maybe just too unselfishness there from Dylan Jackson, which you appreciate. As Dylan gets it off of a curl screen. And goes to Max Tanner. Tanner steps behind the three-point line. Down to 7 seconds. Down to Miller. Down to 5 seconds. Garrett all the way to the rim. A lot of contact, and he's fouled.
Eric, I think what happened, I want to go back to that situation. Dylan Jackson had a wide-open three-pointer out there. There were 22 seconds left on the clock. I think Dylan was going to take it. I think he heard Coach Roberts in his ear. Coach Roberts was just 15 feet off the floor there, directly beside Dylan Jackson. I think he heard him say, hey, just slow it down. I think it caused Dylan to back out of that shooting rotation and, like you said, nearly turned it over. So I think, unfortunately for Dylan Jackson, I think he had a good opportunity to make another three-pointer, but he listened to the orders coming there from the sidelines from Coach Roberts.
And so it'll be 2 free throws coming for Garrett Miller as they clean up his perspiration after he went down hard on the floor. As they take care of that, it will be 2 free throws for the sophomore, Garrett Miller. The first free throw for Miller. On the way, and it's no good. He will have one more. As Jay Martin checks in for the final 2.1. One more for Miller. Second free throw is no good. Tipped around. It will go out of bounds with 0.2 seconds. The Mustangs will have. You'll need a tip in. Draw up an alley-oop for Aaron Adams. Why not? I think Betts underneath the basket is waiting for that. As they try it to Tanner, it's no good. And that will do it for the third quarter of play. Overall, though, a good quarter for the Mustangs, leading 51-44. Jimmy, if you're McCracken County, you've got to feel strong about what the Mustangs have been able to do tonight.
Yeah, Eric, and like I said, this is 2 games and 3 more quarters with this Mustang team. 11 consecutive quarters. They played really, really good basketball against stout opponents in Central Hardin, St. Mary's, and now tonight, Legion Prep. Coach Roberts has got to feel good. We talked there at halftime about getting ready for the second half of the season, going into the end of the regular season, getting ready for district play, wanting to win the district, getting to regional play. And you've got some tough opponents in Marshall County, Callaway County, and Graves County again. So I think, Eric, overall, when you look at it, this team, you and I both have got to agree, this team looks a whole lot better in January than they did in December.
And you expect just a great job Coach Roberts and his staff have done. Best coaching staff you'll find. Just once again continues to find ways to get the most out of his players.
Yeah, and I like the team he's got on the court right now. He's got 2 big guys at 6'5", Max Tanner, and 6'6", Aaron Adams. And then you got Owen Grogan, who plays a lot taller than he is. And then you got Garrett Miller on there somewhere around that 6'2", 6'3" range. So really the only guy under 6 foot right now on the floor is Jay Martin. So I like this starting lineup right here in this fourth quarter.
Shout out to get to in a moment. Mustangs lead 51-44. So we start this fourth quarter. Garrett Miller on the left wing had it poked away. It's going to be a reach-in foul. Want to give a shout out to good buddy Anthony Ridgway listening in. Hope you feel better from the flu bug. Good to hear from you, partner, as always. So on the Seaplant Federal Credit Union text hotline, Garrett Miller goes left side to Jay Martin. As Jay, using his dribble, brings it back. Now still works on the left ring as he gets a high screen. Looks, goes down low. Nice pass. Max Tanner gets his man in the air, puts it in. Nice job by Tanner to finish at the rim. 53-44. The Mustangs by 9. 7:28 left in the game. Into the front court. It comes now on the left-hand side. That is to Singleton. Now straight away to Stewart. Now into the paint to Betts. His pass taken away by Max Tanner. Tanner up the floor to Grogan. He pump fakes. It's lost. It's taken away by Prep. Up the floor it goes to Betts for the dunk. As a 6'9" freshman finishes in transition, he's got 20. 53-46. Mustangs by 7. It is straight away to Aaron Adams. Swung left side to Grogan. As Grogan goes off a screen, that's going to be a foul, I believe, on Prep. It is going to be on Stewart.
Eric, that was a interesting call. I thought they were going to get a moving screen there for a second on Aaron Adams. His feet were definitely shifting. I gotta say that's a break for the Mustangs there. Interesting enough, Eric, that's the 3rd foul on Stewart here in the second half.
As it will be Jay Martin on the left-hand side for the Mustangs. As Jay backs his way into the paint, picks up his dribble, comes out now as it swung right side to Tanner, in the corner to Dawson. Step back 3, got it!
Eric, Jace Dawson comes off the bench, but he's another one of these guys, Eric, I talk about that he's right at 40% shooting 3-pointers. He doesn't shoot many, but he makes what he takes.
56-46, the Mustangs by 10, 6:25 left in the game. As it's kicked by McCracken County, it will stay with Prep. Legion Prep out of Dallas, Texas. The opponent tonight for the Mustangs, part of this grind session circuit. Jumped out to a double-digit lead, but the Mustangs immediately fought back with a 10-0 run to end the quarter in the first quarter and have not looked back. Right side, a 3 coming from Stewart. No good. Rebound comes down to Jace Dawson. As Dawson gives it to Martin into the front court. As Jay goes to Halls. Halls all the way towards the rim. His shot blocked at the rim by Betts. Betts on the left-hand side to Dunn. Dunn, nice pass down low. Stewart's layup is good. And a quick 4-0 run here for the Bulldogs. It's 56-48 as Jay Martin takes a lot of contact, gives it up to Dawson. Back to Martin. As Jay, working against the defender, goes to Grogan. Grogan spins and gives it back out to Jay Martin. As Jay, a lot of contact from Stewart to the rim and lost it for a moment. It's going to go out of bounds off the Mustangs over to the Bulldogs.
Eric, they're allowing a lot of contact
Yes.
there. You know, I really thought that was another foul on Stewart, which would have been his fourth, but the officials didn't see it that way.
And then just careless turnover by the Bulldogs off Stewart's hands, out of bounds.
Yeah, Eric, and you know, right now, quickly, we've chewed up nearly 3 minutes of this fourth quarter, 5:14 left here, and the Mustangs holding on to this 8-point lead with an opportunity here in this possession to extend it back out to a double-digit lead here, almost midway through the fourth quarter.
As the Mustangs will walk it up. Fulcher for McCracken County as he works towards the right-hand side, crosses over his dribble towards the left-hand side now. Fulcher straight away to Dawson. On the wing to Grogan. Off of a screen, Grogan using his dribble straight away to Jackson. Swung left side to Carter Halls. Halls, left side, Jackson. Spot up three, no good. Rebound comes down to the Bulldogs. 56-48, Bulldogs trail by 8. Out top, it's Walker. On the right-hand side, it goes to Lugo. Now into the paint to Betts. Gives it out straight away. Swung into the corner. A three coming from Singleton. No good. Rebound back to Fulcher. Mustangs lead by 8. 56-48. 4:20 left in the game. It comes straight away to Dylan Jackson. As Dylan gets by his man, and it's going to be a foul on the floor against the Bulldogs.
Eric, that was a nice move by Dylan Jackson. That's the first time tonight we've seen Dylan really take the ball and not take an opportunity to shoot a three-pointer, but try to drive it against the glass. He was on the other side of the lane away from Betts. He would have had an opportunity there to get an easy two-pointer at the rim if he could have continued that drive.
So the Mustangs on top is a jumper, no good, but a foul called a little late. And so that foul on Prep. 4:14 here in this game. Mustangs up 56-48, and then a foul away from the ball is going to be on Aaron Adams underneath.
Both guys got it there. Number 21 for Prep got the first one, and number 21 for the Mustangs got the second one.
Sure did. They exchanged pleasantries and exchanged fouls. And so it will be a possession to Legion Prep. And it's on the wing, it goes to Walker. Now into the corner to Lugo. Swung on the opposite side, straight away now. A three coming from the Bulldogs, no good. And the Mustangs have it. 3:50 left in the game, 56-48. McCracken County on top. Dylan Jackson gives it up to Fulcher. And on the wing, it goes to Adams. Adams picks up his dribble, back to Fulcher. Thought about taking a three. Fulcher using the dribble idly, gives it now to Grogan. Off of a screen, Grogan to the rim. His shot partially blocked, out of bounds. Actually, they're going to say just off McCracken County over to Legion.
Yeah, Eric, I think it slipped off Owen Grogan's hand. I don't think there was any contact there. It looked like it spun off his hand as he was getting ready to put it up against the glass. So, you know, that was another nice cut there by Owen Grogan. He's done that a few times tonight, but unfortunately he wasn't able to finish at the glass.
56-48. McCracken County is on top. 3:25 left in the game. As in the front court, top of the key, it's Singleton taken away by Grogan. As Grogan is fouled in the backcourt. Good sportsmanship by Prep. And it will stay with McCracken County.
Is that, Eric, I think he's going to the free throw line. Is that 5 fouls?
I think that's right. That is correct. And so Grogan to shoot. His free throw is good. One more coming for Owen Grogan. Grogan, his second free throw is good. So the Mustangs lead 58-48. As it is on the right-hand side, a runner underneath, knocked out of bounds. It's off of the Bulldogs. It will go to McCracken County.
Yeah, Eric, that was good play. The Mustangs stopped that drive there by Walker, and he tried to pass it over, I think, to Stewart in the corner. No, I actually think it was done, and just went off his hands for a turnover.
So the Mustangs on top, 58-48. 2:55 left in the game. Dylan Jackson comes straight away to Grogan. Grogan, backdoor cut to Fulcher. Now in the corner, Garrett Miller to Adams. Swung left side to Grogan. He'll take a spot up three. Rimmed out. Garrett Miller fights for it, puts it up and in. Great job, Garrett Miller fighting for that. It's 60-48. McCracken by 12, 2:30, and then a steal nearly by Garrett Miller. He dives for it, saves it to Fulcher, up to Adams for the layup. Thought for sure he might dunk it, but he laid it up and in, 62-48. 2:15 left in the game. It's Betts. He'll take a step back three. That's no good. The Mustangs want to push again. Dylan Jackson on the right-hand side. He'll take a spot up three. No good. Rebound comes back to Prep. This offense can explode in a hurry sometimes. Betts underneath. Puts it up. Reverse layup is good. 62-50. Mustangs on top. 1:50 left in the game. Fulcher goes on the wing to Grogan. Is Grogan in the corner to Adams. Now out it comes to Garrett Miller. Swung on the left side to Fulcher. Now to Adams, and he's going to be fouled. That will send Aaron Adams to the foul line to shoot two. A nice job by McCracken County tonight.
You know, Eric, I don't know where the score sheet is, but I'm looking at Aaron Adams and Garrett Miller. You know, Aaron Adams is here at the free throw line. Garrett Miller's. I think if those guys could put in a few more baskets here before the end of the court, we might have four guys tonight. Is that potential having four guys in double digits tonight for the Mustangs?
That, I believe, is right. As McCracken County able to score early and often once they got past the early first quarter and were able to stretch that lead out. And McCracken County is up by 12, 62-50. And McCracken County a chance to go 8-7 on the season after a little bit of a slow start against a brutal schedule. And the schedule does not get any easier for the Mustangs. The next game will be Friday night. That is at Paducah Tillman. That'll be a 5:30 start here on 99.5 The Fan. And so two free throws will come for Aaron Adams. And so the freshman, two free throw opportunities. His first free throw, it rims in.
Eric, that went all the way around the rim.
It sure did, and end up falling. That gives him 9. And he misses the second free throw, as it will be the Bulldogs with it, 90 seconds left. Mustangs up 13, into the corner, a three coming from Stewart, no good. Rebound to Grogan. Grogan gets it out, and he will bring it up on the left-hand side. And the Mustangs slow it down a little bit. 1:15 left as Grogan in towards the lane, towards the opposite side of the floor. Stretching out Prep as it goes to Fulcher. This is where Prep's not used to this due to a shot clock. And so they're having to deal with a little bit of this type action. 54 seconds left. Normally, the grind session games, you just play all the way to the end, no matter what the score is. Just, as I said, again, due to the shot clock. No shot clock in these games with the KHSAA teams. Is Fulcher. Nearly threw it away, saved in by Dylan Jackson. Back to Fulcher, 27 seconds left as Adams has it at the foul line, turns, gives it out to Fulcher. And the Mustangs can give it just 15 more seconds. Down to 10. And the Mustang faithful starting to give their approval in the form of applause. The Mustangs win it tonight. Final score 63-3. The Mustangs move to 8-7 on the year. Jimmy Garrett, a really good win for the Mustangs tonight.
Yeah, Eric, it is 3 good wins in a row. But this right here, Eric, may be the best team that we've seen so far in this 3-game streak. I mean, St. Mary's is a good team. Central Hardin was a really good team. But this team here, Eric, had a lot of talent and a lot of speed, as well as a 6'9" freshman in the center. So you got to give – I'm going to start with Coach Roberts. You got to give him credit. This is 3 games in a row, Eric, where they played really, really good defense against a tough opponent and have been able to hold them down to not a lot of points. And so, Eric, as the defense continues to carry this team, but the difference, Eric, I think in December, if I said, what's the difference from the games that you and I witnessed in December to what we've seen here in January, it's been the offense. I mean, I think they've played solid defense throughout the year with the exception of maybe down at Graves County, but it was the offense that just seemed to be stagnant overall, particularly in December, really clear up through that Graves County game. But since then, 3 games in a row where these Mustangs, including going back to that game against Malmont, Arkansas, where they put up 75 points. Eric, this offense has really turned on. And now for 3 consecutive games, this offense has been led by Dylan Jackson and him just stroking the shots out there at the 3-point range. And so, Eric, that's what you need. You know, I mentioned somebody has to become a big-time scorer for this team if they're going to be successful down the stretch. And, you know, when you look at the season average, Dylan's at 11 and Jay Martin's at 10, and those aren't impressive numbers for big-time scorers. But coming into tonight's game over the last 2 games, as I mentioned, Dylan Jackson was averaging 18 points a game. He's broke that 18-point mark again here tonight against a really tough team. And then I think, Eric, there's several other scorers on the card that were at or near double digits for the Mustangs. So, Eric, Coach Roberts has got to be going back to the locker room happy with the offensive performance of his team.
No doubt. As they are able to get the 13-point win tonight, 63-50. After a slow start for McCracken County, they were able to overcome a lot and get to the double-digit win here tonight. Let's take a look at the final scoring for tonight. Once again with that, Jimmy Garrett.
So taking a look first at Legion Prep, Carson Betts, he ended up with a total of 22 points, just an excellent game. 14 of those in the first half, 8 in the second half. Second leading scorer tonight, Antone Stort. He ended up with a total of 15 points, 8 in the first, 7 in the second. The other 2 scorers tonight for Legion Prep, Singleton, he ended up with 4. Jump up here and take a look at Walker. He ended up with 5. And then Dunn, the other starter, ended up with just 2 points, 2 free throws there in the fourth quarter. Taking a look at the Mustangs tonight, 6 different scores tonight for the Mustangs. And let's take a look at these guys in the double digits, led by none other than Dylan Jackson. Overall, Dylan Jackson tonight, 21 points. Eric, I want to make a note for the fans at home. Dylan Jackson made 6 3-pointers in tonight's ball game. Then you drop down and look at the second leading scorer tonight, Owen Grogan, another starter. He ended up with 12 points. And then Garrett Miller coming off the bench. He ended up with a total of 10. Aaron Adams, just 1 free throw shot short of double digits as well. He ended up with 9 points. And then you drop down and look at Max Tanner. He had a good night as well. He was at 9 points. And then you got Jackson Diaz at 2. So, Eric, if you take the exception of 2 guys, Aaron Adams and Max Tanner just being a point short of double digits, you would have had 5 guys in double digits tonight scoring for the Mustangs, led by Dylan Jackson with another 20-point effort tonight with 21 points.
And overall, I just felt like the Mustangs